So we need to look at factorising 4x squared plus 16x plus 15. So when we expand double brackets, we use the grid method. So we're going to use a grid to do the opposite, to put it back into brackets. So remember, that's what factorise means, put into brackets, okay? And we can see that it's going to be two brackets because we've got an x squared, an x, and then a number on its own. So we know it's going to be two brackets. So the x squared term always goes in that box, and then the number on its own always goes in this box. And what we know is these two diagonal boxes times together is the same as these two diagonal boxes times together. So we're going to do 4x squared times 15. So 4x squared times 15 is actually 60x squared. So I know that those two boxes are going to equal 60x squared. So we need two numbers that times together to make 60, and two numbers that add together to make this 16x. We've used the 4x squared, we've used the plus 15. These two numbers need to add to make 16x. So we can put our x and our x squared there if you need to. So two numbers that multiply to get 60, two numbers that add to get 16. 6 and 10 definitely add to make 16, and 6 and 10 times to make 60. So I know that that's 6 and 10 and 6 and 10. Okay, so I need to put the 6, obviously it's going to be 6x and 10x, 6x and 10x. So I need to put 6x and 10x in one of these boxes. It doesn't matter which way around it goes. So I'm going to put 6x and 10x. Okay. Now I need to find the highest common factor. So what goes into 4x squared and 10x? The highest is 2x. And then I can think, well, 2x times what makes 4x squared? So that column must also be 2x. 2x times what makes 10x? Well, that one must be 5, and 5 is also the highest common factor of that column. And then what is the highest common factor of 6x and plus 15 is 3, or 5 times what makes plus 15? So we know that's 3. So my two brackets are 2x plus 5 and 2x plus 3. Okay, and that's the factorised form. So we know that we didn't need to do anything at the beginning because there are no numbers that go into 4, 16 and 15. We can't simplify that to begin with. So we'll look at one at the end that you can kind of do that. So moving on to question 2. There are no factors of 6, no common factors of 6, 19 and 15. So we can just get straight on with the question. So again, factorise means put into brackets. So we're going to use our backwards kind of grid method. The x squared term always goes in here, and the figure on its own always goes in here. That diagonal is the same times together as that diagonal times together. So 6x squared times 15 is actually 90x squared. So I need two numbers that times together to make the 90x squared. I've used the 6x squared, I've used the plus 15, so I need two numbers that add together to make 19x. So two numbers that add together to make 19x. So this one is a little bit more obvious as well. So we've got 10 times 9 is 90, and 10 add 9 is 19. So we know that's going to be 10x and 9x with 10x and 9x. So it doesn't matter which way round they go. So I'm going to put 10x and 9x. The highest common factor of this column or this row, so do one of those first. So the highest that goes into 6x squared and 10x is 2x. And then the highest in 6x squared and 9x is 3x. Or we could have done 2x times what must make 6x squared. So 2x times what makes 10x? Well, that's 5. Or the highest common factor of 10x and plus 15 is also 5. And then the highest common factor of 9x and plus 15, or 5 times what makes 15 is 3. So our two brackets are 3x plus 5 and 2x plus 3. And again, just a little reminder, you can always check your answer in case we've got kind of negatives involved by expanding the brackets out again. Okay, so the last one that we're going to look at, 8x squared, 34x and plus 8, they all have a common factor of 2. So I'm going to make it easier for myself and I'm going to take 2 outside as a common factor. So divide by 2 is 4x squared. Divide by 2 is 17x. Divide by 2 is plus 4. Now that makes it a little bit easier, so I can factorise this inner part here. But in my answer I've got to remember to include the 2. So if we factorise this bit in the brackets, so we need our grid. The x squared term always goes in this box, so we've got 4x squared plus 4. That diagonal times together is the same as that diagonal times together. So 4x squared times 4 is 16x squared. So those two need to also time to make 16x squared. So those times together to make 16x squared. And we've used the 4x squared, we've used the plus 4. We need two numbers that add to make 17x. So two numbers that add to make 17x. So 16 times 1 is 16, and 16 add 1 is 17. So we've got 16x and 1x, and 16x and 1x. So it doesn't matter which way round we put them. So I'm going to put 16x and 1x. And then let's look at the column. The highest common factor of 4x squared and 1x is just x. X times what makes 4x squared, or the highest common factor of that row is 4x. Then I need to think about what number is going to go here. So the highest common factor of 16x and 4 is 4. Or we could have done 4x times what makes 16x is 4. And then 4 times what makes 4 is just 1. Or the highest common factor of 1x and plus 4 is also 1. So my two brackets are x plus 4 and 4x plus 1. But we also need to remember that I had the 2 beforehand. So I've got 2 before my bracket.